This matter comes before the court at this time for a scheduled status hearing. Court's docket notes indicate that the matter came before the court following a long series of proceedings under the UCCJEA. It was determined that California was an inconvenient forum by that state. Child custody jurisdiction transferred to Kansas, and the September 19th proceeding was really the first time that this court asserted child custody jurisdiction in the case. The court made orders at that time staying the every other month to California provision of the California custody order, and then set a three-part visitation schedule with Benjamin to come to October to Kansas, and then Thanksgiving week he would come to Kansas, and then dividing the winter break
Yeah.
one half to each parent, with Benjamin's part being in California. So, Benjamin, did you exercise those visits in accordance with the court's rulings?
So I was able to exercise the visit in October, and that was pretty much it.
Okay, why didn't
And
you do
then
the
actually
Thanksgiving?
in December when they came out.
Okay,
So
why didn't you do the November one?
the time was just too much. I the as far as like I understood, what I understood was that that was Monica's visit, and Monica was actually giving that up during that time. It wasn't a mandatory um visit. It was something that Monica was giving up at the time, but I couldn't make it because of my work schedule. But I was able to visit with them in December as well.
All right, so they spent half of the winter break with you out there?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. All right, Ms. Mann, you're new to this case, but I trust you've conferred with your client. What is her current position regarding parenting time orders?
Judge, thank you. Yes, I am new to this case. And I would agree with Mr. Bravo. He came to Kansas, took the boys, I believe, to a Chiefs game in October. He, my understanding is that there was an agreement for him to come in November. Maybe that was made in front of Your Honor during court or not, but then immediately following that, he reneged on that agreement and said he wouldn't be able to come. And then, yes, the boys did go out to California in December. Going forward, Your Honor, and these boys, Ben he'll be 14 next month in just a few weeks, and then Sam is 11. Going forward, Your Honor, my client would suggest, and I actually submitted, and it was this morning, and I apologize, a proposed parenting plan to the court, where the parenting time would continue to be only in the state of Kansas. And I have some justifications for that, Your Honor, which I'm happy to go over. The California order that Your Honor adopted and then somewhat modified provides that my client has sole legal custody of the kids relating to health, education, schools, selection, counselors, extracurricular activities. We would suggest that all remains the same. We would suggest that parenting time be in Kansas during the summer for a specified amount of time in June and July, in October during the fall break, in Christmas break during a specific amount of time, half of spring break, and Memorial Day weekend. The reason we ask for the parenting time to be in Kansas is for a variety of reasons. Number one, part of the California order is that mom is to foot the bill for the plane tickets to California, provide verification that she's paid the funds, and then dad is to reimburse her 50%. That doesn't happen. So mom, who's on a fixed income through disability and receiving child support, is like, for example, the tickets to California for Christmas, it was a total of $1,300. So she's out half of that, and dad has yet to reimburse her. So she can't afford to do all of this transportation to California if she's not going to get any sort of support, a reimbursement as is currently ordered. Secondly, the children come back from dads. And for example, from this December trip, they say that I'm getting a note that there's an audio issue. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine, counsel.
Okay. So the other reason that more additional reasons why we believe parenting time should be in Kansas is because the boys indicated that for 8 days, that just in this past this few weeks ago, dad took Sam to play pickleball most days, for 6 hours at a time. Ben was sick mostly the entire time and stayed home by himself. There was no visitation with other of dad's family except for maybe one aunt and one cousin for 30 minutes. And one of my understanding is one of dad's big arguments about having parenting time in California is because there's all of this other family there that the children can go and interact with. Well, that did not happen in the last trip. Additionally, Judge, there's a documented history of the children coming back from visitation at dad's house with scabies. And I believe you've seen some documentation that was provided at the last court hearing, but we have documentation from doctors in California. They came back again this last trip with scabies. They've already been treated. And so there's a health concern that at dad's house, it's just not an appropriate place to be staying there for long term. And finally, Judge, Sam specifically struggles after and before these visits. There's documentation at the school that he is sick on days leading into going to visitations. He emotionally is unregulated when he's come back. Both boys are in counseling, which is a requirement of this court order from California. But he has meltdowns, he's crying, he's unable to sleep. He's really struggling with the amount of time that's been separation from mom, but also being in this environment with dad. So that's those are the reasons why we believe that parenting time needs to be here in the state of Kansas. Additionally, if dad is not going to reimburse mom for the cost of these tickets, the language in the California order specifically states that failure to provide the reimbursement can be considered for custody modification. Obviously, we don't need a custody modification, but I think a parenting time modification is appropriate. And finally, well, I won't say finally, I'm just kind of going through the California court orders that are also prevalent for today's purposes. Dad does exercise his Zoom parenting time weekly, which is great. The California order orders 30 minutes Mondays and Tuesdays. Per my client, Dad has missed about 25% of those scheduled calls since June. And looking at what her documentation provides, I would say Dad reschedules those visits nearly 50% of the time, if not more than that. But he is talking to the kids for the 30 minutes that are allotted. It's just not consistent as far as always being Mondays and Tuesdays at the designated time. My client, as I mentioned earlier, the boys and my client both attend individual counseling, which is required by the California court order. They attend South Central Mental Health. My client does individual counseling. She also does family counseling with the boys, and the boys also see individual therapists. The court order requires dad to also attend individual counseling, which I have not received, and I'm not sure he would know to give me any verification that he is attending counseling, but I would ask that he provide that information to the court. This is in paragraph 8.01 of the California order, which the court, Your Honor, has not amended that requirement. So the visitations didn't happen as you prescribed when you were last here in September. The boys are not, they're struggling before and after the visits. The finances are difficult for my client to accommodate a California visit, and I'm not 100% sure that dad is complying with the current California court order from June. So for all those reasons, we would ask that any parenting time continue to be in the state of Kansas. as we've outlined in a proposed parenting plan that I filed with the court this morning.
Benjamin, have you seen this proposed parenting plan?
Not at all. No.
You
And it
haven't?
wasn't sent to me. No.
Okay. Is there a reason for that, Ms. Mann, that wasn't sent to him?
Yeah, honestly, Judge, in my brain this morning, I thought he was represented by counsel, and I think you'll note if you see it, I have a line there for Tina Huntington. She's never been in on this case, but this morning I thought that, and so I thought she would get it by e-filing, and it was only once I got out of another meeting this morning that I realized that I didn't have the correct representation. So that is my fault, and I apologize for that.
All right. And I'll also
You,
point out from your entry of appearance that we are dealing in the 13th Judicial District, and this is Butler County, Kansas, not Sedgwick.
I 100% understand, Your Honor.
Benjamin,
Your
you
Honor.
heard what Monica's attorney has laid out before the court. Let me ask you about some of these things. How about the lack of reimbursement for the plane ticket? That seems fairly fundamental. You know what the
Absolutely.
deal is.
I completely agree with you. It's fundamental. And that's something that we talked about. When I responded to her email, I asked her for a receipt of all the tickets that were purchased for that specific day, just so that I am aware of what is being, what I'm paying for. And she has not sent me a receipt. She did not reply to that message on Talking Parents. So a lot of this stuff that she's claiming here is a lot of exaggerated talk.
Okay, all right. Well, let's just deal with things one at a time.
Right.
I also would expect that if someone's seeking reimbursement for something, they would provide the documentation as to what was
Absolutely.
spent. Why was that not provided?
It was, Your Honor. There, I'm looking at a receipt that shows base fare $1,094, U.S. transportation tax, U.S. 9/11 security fee, U.S. flight segment, all totaling $1,327. It says payment information, and it was emailed through Talking Parents to Mr. Bravo on October 29th.
Your Honor, when you purchase tickets, it gives you the amount of tickets that are purchased and then the amount that the total is for those specific tickets. When I replied to her, I asked for the number for that, for the addendum for that receipt from the airplane company, and she did not send it to me. It looks like something that somebody created or some sort of fake receipt. Like if I'm paying for like 3 tickets instead of 2.
Okay.
I will reimburse her as soon as she sends me the receipt for that information. That's not a problem.
Okay.
I can, Your Honor, I can provide that information after today's hearing.
And this is something generated by an airline or
Yes.
Correct.
someone that she booked through?
Yeah, she booked it through Southwest. And Your Honor, you and I were not privy to all of the history of this case, but my client did have a 3-year restraining order from Mr. Bravo, and there's some concern regarding safety for herself. And so she sent to Mr. Bravo the financial parts of this particular email that she received from Southwest. It did not include the itinerary, granted, but it did accurately reflect what the cost was. But
Why
I
wouldn't the itinerary be also sent?
Right.
because the parties, because she was coming in a day early, Judge, instead of the day that the parties were going to exchange the children and they had agreed on. She did not want him to know that she was coming in the night before. She came in on December 24th, and the exchange was on the 26th. So she came in a day and a half early so that there wouldn't be any issues with making sure that the kids got there on time. So she wasn't under any obligation to tell him that she was going to be there.
No, I would agree, but that could have just been redacted from the documents that were sent to him.
I agree with you. I mean, at this point, we can't unring the bell, but I can now provide this particular documentation. And if he is willing to reimburse, then we will.
Your Honor, uh, I feel like this is a lot of regurgitated stuff that is taking place, and she's been doing this for like the last. I know we're in a different county now and a different jurisdiction, but this is the same stuff that she has. These are the same claims that we've already gone to court over. I've been treated. I've
Okay,
done all these
okay.
things.
We're,
So
we're jumping around. We're
okay, sorry.
jumping around here. Benjamin, when this documentation is provided, the court would expect you to promptly reimburse your half.
Right, absolutely.
All right. And it looks like that's going to be about $660 or so.
Right.
Okay.
As far as
What about these scabies that are supposedly involved in your half?
I have no idea what Ms. O'Rourke is talking about, because when I went to go see my physician just said that I didn't have that, and so she treated me anyways at the time, and but Miss O'Rourke is just like it's just like one situation after another that we've already talked about in the court system, and these that's what I was afraid of when we moved from one jurisdiction to another, because now we're regurgitating the same information through different counsel and a different judge, um, to try to so she could take my custody again. And see, we already had climbed the hill and gotten to a certain point, and now she's trying to drop it back down to where I'm getting stripped of my visits again and not being able to see them. So this is the same stuff I've been dealing with since I got a divorce from this lady, and so I'm just a little frustrated because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Um,
Well, okay. Let's deal with that issue.
okay,
This man, you actually have medical documentation that these
yeah,
boys were
absolutely.
treated for this condition once they returned from California?
She will go into a medical
Okay,
provider
just a minute, Benjamin. Let her respond, okay?
okay.
We'll get back to you.
I have a document from January 7th of 2026 where Sam went to the Montoya family practice, and he came in and he was sick with a stomach bug, complained about pain, fever, dizziness, and vomiting. They returned on the 2nd of January, and my client advises that Sam was sick most of, what did you say, not Ben.
Ben was sick while they were
Oh,
there,
okay, sorry.
and Sam
Ben-
got it as soon as
that's
they got
right.
home.
Ben was sick with the same symptoms while in California, and then Sam got it when he returned. Then it also says was exposed to scabies and broke out in a rash. That they were presented with scabies infestation and symptoms suggesting of a viral gastroenteritis. Then the let's see. Yeah, patient summary. The patient presented with a scabies infestation and symptoms suggestive of viral gastroenteritis, including vomiting and fever. The doctor, my client had already started treatment because this was not unusual, because I have documentation from 2021, 2021, and 2024 from California doctors that had also treated the children for scabies, and he was diagnosed with scabies and this gastroenteritis, and I'm looking for what he was prescribed. I'm sorry. A permethrin treatment is what he was provided.
Your Honor,
Mr. Bravo?
can I address this issue? Uh,
Yes.
that could have been picked up from Mr. Work a long time ago. The other thing I'm going to tell you, Your Honor, uh, is that when I was here on my visit, so I have a camera inside my house, and one of the issues with the visit was that Miss O'Rourke was actually caught on camera coaching up our sons during this visit. that's the other thing I'm concerned about is that Miss O'Rourke is coaching our kids specifically on language, on things to say in order for situations like this, so that she can take control of our kids psychologically and physically. And I can provide that video if you need it. You will see Miss O'Rourke coaching our kids and basically telling my oldest son that I am a manipulator, and basically that he's supposed to protect Sam when he's in my custody. And this is the one issue that has always bothered me about the court system, is that when I bring up an issue to you guys, um, I try to be as honest as possible. I try to tell you guys that Miss O'Rourke is coaching up our kids and manipulating them. And I actually found a video of Miss O'Rourke manipulating my oldest son, and I can provide that to the court. It is one of the most disturbing things that I've seen as a parent. That she is actually using my oldest boy in a position that he should never be put in. And to me, like, it's very hurtful to be to for her to tell my son that I'm a manipulator, that I try to control them. It's just like, why would you even put a kid in a position like that? um, she tells Ben that he needs to be looking out for Sam and be with Sam whenever he is around me, because I should not be trusted. And so that's the thing about the system, is if you don't have video, or if you can't prove it, then it's not believable. But she can sit there in court and tell you guys a whole bunch of hogwash, and she's going over all these different things, which to me is like, this is disturbing, everything that she's doing right now, because she's trying to take custody of my kids again.
Okay, well, Benjamin, rather than hear you just complain,
No, I'm not trying to
no,
complain.
just a minute. I want
Yeah.
you to address the points that were raised, okay?
Yeah.
One by one. I thought that you were going to have a big celebration with your family when the boys went out there. Now, I'm told, anyway, that there wasn't much family interaction at all. Why was that?
Because I don't get to see my kids very often. And so I took it upon myself to see my kids as much as I could. So I was around Ben and Sam, and this is what we do in Kansas too. When I'm in Kansas, we're playing pickleball, we're playing football, we're playing soccer, we're at the trampoline park, we're doing a bunch of activities together. And when she brought Ben here, Ben already had a cold. He had a sick. He was sick already. So I was not going to put him in a position where he was going to basically hurt himself even more, you know? So I was trying to look out for Ben.
Okay, just that I thought before, one thing that was very important to you is so that these boys could see extended family in
Oh,
California.
absolutely.
But it's just that it didn't happen.
No, they did see extended family when they were here.
Just an
I'm not really
because-
I'm not really sure. And see, this is the other thing, is how is she, where did Miss O'Rourke get all this information? Because she's questioning our kids again, and she should not be questioning our kids about my visit. That is not a okay thing to be doing. That's psychological abuse. As far as I consider it, it's psychological abuse, because she's trying to be in control. She's manipulating these boys to the degree that you guys don't even know. And that's the issue with. It's not about my visit. My visit went well with my boys. The issue right now is, why is Miss O'Rourke trying to take control of of my visits with my sons? Because at the end of the day, the what we should be looking out for, all the adults in this situation, is for the well-being of my sons, not for Miss O'Rourke's control. Because right now everything seems to be like she's trying to take control of the custody thing again, which we've already gone through the California court for.
Okay, next issue. If the California order requires you to be in personal counseling, have you provided any documentation that you are still in counseling? Or
No,
have you discontinued that?
Well, I went through the counseling sessions that I could afford. I can't afford counseling. The counseling sessions here are $130, $140. if Miss O'Rourke agrees to release my child support that I'm paying, I could definitely afford that. It is pretty pricey to be going to counseling sessions, and it's kind of impossible, to be honest, especially since I'm paying for my travels to Kansas and doing all of these things that I'm doing financially in order to be able to maintain my cost of living out here as well. I can provide that video to the court if you guys would like to see the video that I'm talking about, uh, where Miss O'Rourke is psychologically abusing our sons on the phone.
Okay, do you have that available?
I do have it available.
Okay, in what form?
I can email it to you.
Right, anything that you would email to the court also has to be emailed to Ms. Mann. You understand that?
That's correct. I can email that as well.
All right. You may do so, Mr. Bravo, but I need
Does
some
it?
context for it. How was this video created?
This is a video camera that's inside my living room space.
Okay,
That
the boys with you then?
yeah, no, Ben was by himself during that day.
Okay. So then Monica called or something?
She did. And I think this is the other thing with my visits. I prefer that Miss O'Rourke not have access to our boys when I am visiting with them, because what she's doing, she's coaching them and preparing them, which is not something that the court should allow, because it's really abuse. But yeah, she contacted them, and she had a conversation with Ben, and from what I gather, she called me a manipulator on the call, and she goes, "You know how manipulative your dad is. I'm not really sure why you left Sam with your dad by himself." And she instructed Ben that he should basically become a guardian of Sam when he's in my custody, and that he should be protecting Sam when he's in my custody and know where he's at all times. And that's not okay to be putting in the ear of a 13-year-old who should not be put in an adult situation. That's abuse.
All right. Benjamin, do you always know where Sam is when he's in a parenting time period with you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, I think that would be sufficient as long as you know where he is and that he's in an appropriate place. Okay. So Benjamin, what are you proposing here? I know you haven't seen this contrary parenting plan, but
I'm proposing that what I propose is that when the boys have a break in Kansas, that they be flown out to California to spend time with their father. So during spring break, I propose that they come out to California. And then in the summertime, I propose that they come out to California. And then any long breaks from school, I propose that they would be released to come out to California. And I also propose that my oldest son, I think he should be placed in an actual school setting, as opposed to the school setting that he is on right now. I don't think it's beneficial to Ben's growth. I think it's more beneficial that he get to a regular school setting, because I think it'll help him develop a lot more and mature. Right now, he's with mom a lot of the times, and I feel like that's not a healthy situation for him anymore.
all right. Now, Benjamin, you understand that the California order, which is the existing order which Kansas is following for the most
Yeah.
part, gives the mother the sole responsibility to be making these decisions regarding education. You understand that?
Yes, I do. I know that during this visit, we were going to talk about adjusting that order. After this visit, we had talked that we were going to make some adjustments to the order.
Mhm. Mhm. All right. For risk of, I'm not sure what I'll be opening up here, but Benjamin, is there anything else that you need to present to the court?
Not at this time.
All right. Ms. Mann, you can make your reply argument at this time.
Thank you, Judge. I think that the court has heard sufficiently from Dad. I think it's interesting that he says that there wasn't a big family get together, or he didn't get together with a big family celebration because he wants to spend time with his kids, but then also in the same breath admits that Ben was home by himself for long periods of time because he was out with Sam. And then he turns around and says that mom is manipulative, and he has this damning video of her where basically she says that Ben needs to be with Sam and know where he is. And admittedly, Ben was by himself. So I don't see how this is a manipulation by mom. Ben was by himself, and she was saying, I mean, without hearing this recording, obviously, it sounds like a mom was asking her child, why are you by yourself? Why aren't you with them? You should be with your brother, kind of a thing. I did hear Dad say why he's not in counseling because he can't afford it, but he does have insurance. My client's on a limited fixed income, and she is managing to do her own individual therapy, get the boys therapy, and do family therapy. So I'm not sure that finances should be a factor. It's a court order, and Dad should be following it. That also goes along with Dad's request to have the children fly all the way to California. Mom can't afford that, quite frankly. And I think that the proposal that we've put together does allow for spring break. It actually provides for a little bit more consistency instead of just spring break and summer. We said summer blocks of time, October, Christmas, spring break, Memorial Day. Dad just suggested spring break and summer. So I think having consistent time throughout the school year is more beneficial to the kids than just one big block of time during the summer. These children are active in extracurricular activities, specifically soccer. So removing them for a long block of time during the summer could potentially prevent them from being able to do stuff with their teams here. I think that if the court, and I can email Mr. Bravo this proposed plan, but I think that it takes into consideration the current circumstances and the best interest for these children to have shorter breaks in Kansas with Dad instead of one big trip to California.
As long as he bears the expense and time allocation to come out to Kansas each time. Is that what you're proposing?
It's actually a 50%. It's a 50% change. I'm sorry, thinking about if he's bringing the children with him.
I would be the split the cost of him coming here because I did a calculation before, and it is wildly less expensive for him to come here, even with hotel and rental car, than it is to fly the kids to California.
Okay.
So I mean, we could still split the cost of the travel if he was coming here rather than the kids going there.
Okay, I don't know if you heard that, but my client's willing to split the cost of Dad's single trip, single ticket, and a cost of transportation here instead of having him need to reimburse her and her front the cost of the kids going out to California. I understand that he
So
works and that sort of thing, but that also is an issue with the kids going out to California, because if he's working, he's obviously okay with leaving the kids alone because he did so with Ben. And so we just want to make sure that the time that he wants, and he has said that he wanted to spend time with his kids, that that time is actually spent with his kids. And if he's here, then we know he won't be working, so he can actually have that quality time that he wants.
All right, Benjamin,
Your Honor,
hang on a second. Hang on. I got a question for you.
yeah,
Under the existing custody order
yeah.
that was entered in California, you have the right to come out and see the kids one weekend a month here in Kansas. Are you going to be able to do that?
Financially, I can't afford that, to be honest with you, Your Honor. And work schedule wise, it would be completely impossible. I have to put in like a 30-day request. Um, it just, there's a lot to add to that. But financially, that would be really costly. Like I'm paying $1,300 for child support right now. And Miss O'Rourke makes it seem like this is like it's nothing, as far as like paying for these travel for these trips out to Kansas and stuff, and trying to maneuver work schedules and that whole bit. Yeah, that's going to be really tough to do. I think to me, you know, like they were proposing before mom was proposing paying for tickets and flights and stuff for me to go out to Kansas. So the issue about her not being able to afford stuff is kind of blown out of the water just by the proposal, that proposal. Um, but I think, to be honest with you, I don't really understand what the concern is. The concern um, to me is that Ben and Sam haven't really been around me the last since 2018. There was never any form of physical violence. There was never any witnesses that testified that there was any violence between us. Um, that's already been heard through the court system and been adjudicated. Uh, so there isn't any issue. There isn't any issue of abuse. There's never been anything like that. So there isn't any concern about the boys being around me. The only one that's always had a concern or an issue, uh, the only time she's only had issues when we got a divorce, and this became I want the boys, and I'm going to keep them out of your area, or keep them away from you, because I want to psychologically control this situation. And this, if you look back to the history, Mr. O'Rourke is always the one that is making claims in court and creating space between me and my sons. I'm asking that the court not allow Mr. O'Rourke to continue this pattern of behavior because it's really detrimental to the boys. Ben and Sam, the entire time that I was here at my house with them, they were on my couch right next to me, and we can bring them into the court and we can have them testify. They were sitting on the couch and we were hanging out the entire time. They didn't move. We sat on the couch together, and that's because they needed, uh, basically, like Sam especially, he needed to be next to me. And so, when the court is like, when Mr. O'Rourke is bringing these claims before the court, it's just like two completely different views. Like I get, it seems like the boys are getting mistreated. It seems like they're having all these issues and stuff. But when they're actually here with me, they're sitting right next to me, and we're hanging out, we're hugging, we're crying it out, whatever it is, or we're playing pickleball, we're playing football, we're hanging out with other people, we're eating, we're enjoying ourselves. So I know she's got a lot of claims and trying to murky up this water, but in reality, it's not anything like that.
All right, Ms. Mann, is there anything else that you wish to express to the court?
Just one moment. Yeah. No, thank you, Your Honor.
Court first recognizes that Mr. Bravo has a constitutional right to parent his boys. Certainly, his expressions to this court would indicate that he very much wants to exercise his constitutional rights to parent these boys. And I will also observe that it was Monica that caused the long distance expense problem by moving from California to the state of Kansas. Mr. Bravo didn't move from California, she did. So it's not unfair to ask her to bear at least part of that expense burden, which is connected with the exercise of long distance visitation. This court has previously placed a stay on certain parts of the California custody order. I do wish to clarify that at this point, what provisions are operative. First of all, the court finds that the father has at this point the right to exercise visitation in Kansas pursuant to paragraph 3.04 of the California custody order. Whether he financially is able to do so, the court's not necessarily going to be critical if he can't. I would encourage it, Mr. Bravo, but I do understand that that's a substantial travel burden on you to come out for the one time a month visits for a weekend. The court does find in this case that the paragraphs regarding summer break, 4.01, spring break, which is the father's each year, 4.02, and winter break, 4.03, are all operational, and that the court will expect those to be followed, which means, Mr. Bravo, you have spring break with your boys. Spring break period is defined in the order. I encourage you to have the boys as much of that defined period as you can arrange. And they're going out to California with you. I will expect you to have made arrangements with your employer to minimize your work time and maximize your time with the boys. These boys are 14 and 11. I certainly understand that they could be left for short periods of time by themselves. If they can't handle that by now, then there's an immaturity level here that is not normal. I think you're going to set rules, Benjamin, and you're going to expect your boys to follow them. But I really would prefer that you are with them all the time. Whether you can arrange your work schedule to do so during your visitation periods, I would highly encourage and in fact expect that you would do that.
And that's what I did the Christmas visit. I was with them the
Okay.
entire time.
That's great. So 401, 402, and 403 address the spring break, time in the summer, and winter break.
Your Honor, is there any way to make adjustments to the winter and summer break? Like
To
maybe
what
an
extent?
extended summer, since I haven't really been around them that much for the last like 6 years.
Well, the existing order calls for 2 1-week periods, 7 days, as
Right.
mutually agreed upon. And then if you can't agree, which to the court seems somewhat likely, there is a definition that they would reside with you the last week of June and July. I think there'd be some utility to perhaps the 14 days being served consecutively.
Yeah, that would be great.
Judge, I need just a few seconds with my client before
Very well.
I'm sorry.
Very well. Court will allow that.
Judge, I don't know if we lost Mr. Bravo. Oh, there he is. Okay.
No, he's here with us.
I apologize, Your Honor. If I may interrupt you just briefly, I needed to speak with my client because there was some misunderstanding about what was stayed when you all were here back in September. When my client heard you say that you stayed phase 3 of the California court order, she was under the impression that phase 3 encompassed everything that was under paragraph 3.05. So that included summer vacations, spring break, winter break. The reason that that's important is because in
No,
October,
305 deals with
I,
residing with the father in odd numbered months.
I understand that. And that's how I read it as well. I know but when she was relaying to me that in the California judge, the intention was that phase 3 needed to happen, and then the summer vacation, the spring break, and the winter break would also follow if phase 3 was actually happening, or some form of that. So when Your
Does
Honor,
it say that?
no, it doesn't. But I wasn't at the California hearing, and this is what she was relaying to me as far as what her understanding was. So in September, when you said that you were staying phase 3, she thought that that also meant summer break, spring break, and not winter break because you had made that specific order. My point is, Judge, is that as I mentioned earlier, her children are big soccer players, and in October she committed them to an opportunity to play in England over spring break. So that's my point, is that she's
Where
already,
would they get the money to play in England during spring break?
well, it's a fundraiser. It's done through their, I assume it's done through their club. And so she's put down a deposit to go on that trip. I read it the same way you did, and I was trying to talk to her about that, but it's a non-refundable deposit that she's put down. So I'm anticipating that we will have to have some sort of makeup time in order to allow the children to have that activity.
Your Honor, can I chime in?
Yes.
During our last hearing, you actually, because I presented to you what actually had occurred, you said that we would be able to move past that phase because I met the criteria, and so now we're here, and we were gonna come up with different as far as like parenting time visits. That's what this situation was about. It wasn't about that regurgitating that phase again.
Okay. All right.
Your Honor, I would ask, I mean, I wasn't here at that September hearing, but from what I'm hearing from my client and from what Mr. Bravo is kind of indicating, it might be beneficial to Your Honor to talk with these children.
I've considered that possibility. At this point, the court declines to do so.
Okay. That's fine, and I appreciate that. I would just ask, Your Honor, that I don't believe that there was any intentionality on my client's part to prevent any sort of parenting time. She's complied with the court order. And so I would just ask that in order for the kids to go to spring break in England, that it seems reasonable that dad would get some sort of makeup time during the summer.
Benjamin, what do you think about that?
That's a long stretch to be without, and that's one of the issues from this last situation is, I haven't seen Ben and Sam for a while, as far as like the number of days that I was able to see them. So, when you have that much time, it just kind of creates more distance. And I prefer that they come out this way for spring break uh, and during the summertime and stuff, because I like to see my sons. I've been the one that has been missing out on their lives for the last 6 years since 2018.
Well, the court doesn't necessarily agree that it's proper for the mother to have scheduled this without talking to the father and setting up the total unavailability of these boys to the dad during spring break, a period pursuant to California court order was granted to him and him exclusively. The court also would feel, Mr. Bravo, that this could be a life-changing experience for these boys. The court encourages young men to be able to take advantage of a situation like this, one that probably you nor I ever had the opportunity to do. So the court's going to allow those boys to go on this trip. But further, the court's also going to require that these boys be made available to the father during the month of March, just like spring break would have been, for his 1 week period. And I do understand that it may entail them being removed from their normal school environments for a week. I think the boys can make that up. I think these situations need to be very rare in their occurrence, but there are times where it's appropriate, I think, to pull the kids out of school for a week. And this would be done and explained to the school that this is being done pursuant to court order. So I don't want to deny you during the month of March, Mr. Bravo, but perhaps one of the other weeks. And
That's
I'm going
fine.
to let you decide what week that is. You're going to have to find out when they're gone, first of all, and schedule your time around that.
That sounds good.
Specifically grant authority for these kids to be pulled out of school to make this work.
Your Honor, I have the Andover school schedule.
She could send them during the spring break for the schools in California. I don't know if that
When
would.
is that? When is that?
I can get her that information, and I can provide that.
That will make the airlines even busier, but
Right.
it's up to you, though.
Yeah.
Is that also in March, or?
Yeah, I think it is. Let me check the Fresno if I.
The March week, Your Honor, would be March 2nd through 6th.
That's when Andover's
No.
break is?
No, I'm sorry. Andover's spring break is the 13th through the 13th is a Friday, so the 13th through the 22nd, but that's when the England trip is.
Okay. So what were you suggesting with the first week of March?
You suggested that they go to California in March, and that's the week my client suggests.
Would that work, Benjamin?
What was that week?
The first week, the 2nd through it's March 2nd through the 6th is the Monday through Friday. So
that's the week she's suggesting to send them out this way.
Yes.
Okay. The California spring break is from the 30th to April, like the 3rd.
Okay. What advantage of using the California spring break be, Benjamin?
Just because there'll be a lot of kids out of school.
Oh, I see.
And there'll be kids that are same age as Ben and Sam.
Okay. Well, Benjamin, you choose. If you need time to think about it, think about it.
Okay. And I can send her the schedule or the times that I can
Yes.
work with. All right.
Yes.
Sounds good.
are we choosing between those two time frames?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Your Honor, is it possible to limit Mr. O'Rourke's ability to contact my sons when they're in my custody?
Your Honor, I would object to that. A parent has the right to communicate with their children. Mr. Bravo has that right pursuant to California court order.
And how much is
I can
his
send
right?
you the video as well, so you can see
What?
what I'm proposing. That she just like they give me a specific time that I can contact the boys.
And what do you currently have?
I contact them on Monday and Tuesday. We'll work out a schedule usually because their soccer schedule sometimes doesn't match up with the Zoom times.
Your Honor, you're supposed to call them at 6:30 p.m. California time, which is 8:30 p.m. Kansas time. They're not having soccer practice at 8:30.
I just spoke to Miss O'Rourke. I sent her some times this week, and she said that the only times that work for the boys to be on Zoom is on Tuesday and Thursday at like 2:30, 2:45 my time. So I'm not really sure if the attorney is not speaking to her client, but that's the information I was given right now, and that's the same situation we've been going on for the last like 6-7 years. Is I communicate with the boys as much as I can.
So we asked to move it from the Monday, Tuesday, and the times that he suggested were times that they have practices like right in the middle of the evening.
Okay.
And so I said, send times that you are available, and that's what we agreed on when they don't have.
Well, it would appear that California orders paragraph 6.21 addresses this. The mother would be bound by the same rules that apply to the father in 6.21. If they disagree, then it's 2 times a week for up to 30 minutes on Monday and Tuesday.
Right.
At those specific times?
Yes? That's already an existing order.
And I've
Yep.
been flexible.
Oh, no, okay, then stop.
All right, so let me review, Ms. Mann, since you're going to prepare a journal entry stemming from this. Court is adopting paragraph 3.04, subject to the father's ability to be able to come out here and exercise those visits.
Mhm.
4.01 on summer break. However, the court will allow those to be exercised consecutively for a 14-day period. 4.02, of course, there's a modification for 2026 based on what we've discussed. 4.03, winter break, and I also want to add 5.05, Thanksgiving. However, Mr. Bravo, if you wish to exercise Thanksgiving parenting time, you need to come to Kansas to do it.
And do those days have to be specifically on Thanksgiving, or can they be around Thanksgiving? Because I was trying to do that this last time, and Mr. Rourke kind of made it up.
Well, there is the Thanksgiving period is defined in the
Okay,
order, but you have to come out here,
copy.
and therefore you have to bear the cost of coming out here. Now, remember that's you would be entitled to that during an even numbered year, so you could come out under 5.05 in 2026, spend Thanksgiving break here in Kansas with the kids. Though I would hope that you'd make an accommodation for a dinner with their mom, that they're here in Kansas, and the kids have to stay in Kansas.
Right. And I usually try to communicate with my sons on Thanksgiving and Christmas, but that has not been something that I've been able to do.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is that the court is making that provision operative, and if you wish to
Right.
exercise it, you can exercise it.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I think the court has adopted a workable parenting plan based, I think, substantially on previous orders following litigation in the California court system. And this will be the existing parenting plan in effect at this time until further order of the court based on motion, based on some sort of changed circumstances.
Your Honor, are you
And I do appreciate your involvement in the case and your obvious drafting skills.
are you adopting 6.10, which is the 6.10, which is about the reimbursement? You already had it in your previous order from September.
Yes.
Okay, and then what about this counseling? The individual counseling that's ordered for both parents in 8.01.
I don't think it should be adopted, Your Honor.
It's already a court order. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be followed by this court.
And your client is in individual counseling right now?
She is, and the boys are too, which is also ordered in 8.02.
Your Honor, if we're gonna do individual counseling, um, I would also include in that if it's possible, for Miss O'Rourke and I to have a couple of counseling sessions together, so we can learn how to co-parent together. Because at this point, it's very detrimental. What and you'll see in the video what I'm referring to. Um, Miss O'Rourke is very manipulative to our sons, and I feel like it, it, it's more beneficial if we work together as parents and not belittle each other to our kids, because that is definitely not going to work, or it's very abusive.
Well, who would set up this joint counseling session that you're referring to, Benjamin?
Um, when I go to if I go to Kansas, we can schedule a visit there with the therapist. I think she said that she's in family therapy, and so I would appreciate a third party being present. To be honest with you, I think it would help me, um, and I think it would help Miss O'Rourke move past some of her personal issues and vendettas that she has, that she hasn't been able to work through.
Your Honor, obviously, my client, who, as I'll say again, had a 3-year restraining order against Mr. Bravo, does not wish to have co-counseling with him.
Okay. Benjamin, I understand the purpose of your request. I'm not going to require her
That's
to
okay.
participate. I'll also note, Ms. Mann, that the order in California was entered, or at least it stemmed from proceedings, January 15 of 2025. And I see a reference, the court order for participation in counseling shall not exceed 1 year, which would be essentially 3 days from now. The court's going to find that Benjamin's responsibility to engage in his own counseling session will expire on January 15 of 2026.
Judge, he failed to comply with the court order. He admitted it. So you're essentially rewarding him for just not doing anything for a year.
The court doesn't perceive that Benjamin needs counseling. Benjamin needs more time with his boys. And if there's a scabies problem on your end, Benjamin, I hope that you investigate it, study what possibly could be causing something like that, and deal with it appropriately.
Your Honor, I don't have any rashes. I don't have any outbreaks. I understand. And
Look
again,
into it, rule out that there's anything in
no,
your
absolutely.
environment that might be causing this.
But Your Honor, to be honest with you, I've been dealing with Mr. O'Rourke for the last 6 years. It's always some sort of health issue or some sort of other distraction to try to take control. I get what you're saying, though.
Okay. Good.
Your Honor, what would be the time frame for reimbursement when I send this email to Mr. Bravo today?
Benjamin, I expect this to be immediate.
Sounds good.
Let's see.
She sends it to you. It needs to be received by her in 7 days. Okay?
Yeah.
Make it happen.
This means I pay to go
Because that reimbursement is a very important part of this plan.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's going to get sent to. I've never withheld any money from Mr. O'Rourke. I've asked for copies of the receipts. 1,300 seems like a lot. I think Mr. O'Rourke paid for a ticket out of that as well, and that was not part of the court's agreement. That's why I asked her for further documentation.
You pay for the boys.
Right.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm looking at, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, so I apologize. Cost for the round trip ticket for the children is to be shared, 50%, 50%. Mom to purchase round trip ticket, confirmation, total cost to dad within 10 days. Send his cost within 10 days after receiving confirmation. It's just the boys. It's not you.
It says delivering, look,
Where?
it says, if the airline requires an adult and
Oh,
or
right,
parent to
right.
accompany the children, the delivering parent shall pay the total cost of the company and adults round
So
trip
who?
ticket.
Okay,
And
I'm
so
sorry.
if
I didn't read the rest of that sentence. It says if the airline requires an adult or a parent to accompany the children, the delivering parent shall pay the total cost of the accompanying adult's round trip ticket.
I don't think airlines require kids that are 14 and 11 to be accompanied by a parent.
Well, if I provide documentation that they do, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying that if I have that, and then we
Check
would.
with a different airline would be my first point of view.
Okay, well, in this particular case, she went with Southwest. She paid for 3 tickets. So if I have that documentation, we would expect reimbursement for those three as per 6.10. Going forward, I hear what you're saying about look for an airline that doesn't require a parent supervision. But I think that should also possibly be a parental decision.
I don't think that was a discussion the last time we spoke on at the court hearing. The last court hearing, we said that the boys were going to travel to California and that I was going to pay for 2 tickets.
I wasn't part of that September hearing, but the court order from California is what it is.
Right. And Mr. Ricky stayed that California order, and we came up with a temporary plan during that visit, during that court hearing.
So, Judge, it appears that both of the parties are under the impression that you stayed the entire court order, not just my client. So I don't think if that is Mr. Bravo's understanding, then I don't think the children should have to go out to California.
No, it wasn't the entire California agreement. It was a portion of that, and we came to like temporary terms as far as like paying for how many tickets and when I was going to be able to visit with the boys. That's that type of stuff. Just trying to put words in my mouth.
Well, I would construe paragraph 5 of this court's order from September 19th. It discussed only reimbursement for the boys' tickets.
That's right.
And I see no reason to change that order. Because quite frankly, again, I don't see the absolute necessity of a parent accompanying these boys on an airline trip. All right, I'm quite a bit behind on my next hearing. So counsel, is there anything else we need to address, Ms. Mann?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Bravo, it's important. Ms. Mann is going to send you a draft of her order. If it matches what the court has ruled today, whether you agree with it all or not, you need to approve that and get this thing on file, okay? It's in your best interest to have this order on file.
Okay.
If you think that there's a legitimate dispute about the wording, just get with Ms. Mann and discuss it with her, okay?
Okay.
All right. There's nothing further at this time. The Bravo matter will currently be in recess. This meeting may be